Thanks for sticking with me. If you've come back for more, cool. Just recapping, done 10 questions on the Vinyl Tag 2026. This is part 2, questions 11 to 20. Maybe a little bit quicker this one. A few more, just random questions really, so you can answer quite quickly. Yeah, we'll see how this goes channel wise. I haven't bought the speakers and mics and things, and the lighting might be a bit crap, and just to see if there's any engagement, anyone interested. Is it worth chatting to a few people? Why not? It's better than just talking to myself, which I often do out here. Well, the dog doesn't listen. He's not here. Oscar the dog. He's a very good listener, but not a great talker. So it's very one way. So it's very similar to just talking to myself. So I figured we'll just give this a whirl. So without further ado, we're going to go into question 11, which is show an album, a track from an album that always brings a tear to your eye, or are you just a heartless bastard? I'm not. I'm a very, very sensitive chap, but can be quite awkward at times. But that's another story, not for this channel. So there we go. We're gonna go with Mazzy Star on the album Tonight That I Might See. There's a song, track 4, side 2, Into Dust. Probably one of the more well-known ones, other than Fade Into You, which is very well known. I heard it on, it was included on a compilation by the old magazine Q. Do you remember that? It was on one of those, I'm going to say about 94, and knocked me stone dead. It's just amazing. Stopped me in my tracks. I was like, wow. I think it's just the sound that the guitar makes. It's a very simple chord progression, and you've got Hope Sandoval's wonderful vocal with just a little bit of slap on it, not much, and it's gorgeous. It seems to be quite a sad song. Fun fact, I've sung it 3 times live. I have. So if you listen to this, if you know the song, you're probably going, whatever. I have, in the right key. That's all I'm going to say. Definitely 3 times, so it must have worked. We did it more than once. Something I wouldn't mind revisiting that. So if our guitarist Harry's watching, just a thought. Okay, cool. So that's that one. Show 3 albums from artists that you try to like, but you just can't get into really. Well, I've got rid of it all. I've been that ruthless. They've gone. So I'm going to tell you the three artists that most recently kind of left the bill. One's a bit older, a bit further back in time. But I'll give you 3. The National. I had quite a lot of their stuff. First up with Green Man, 2006 or 7. I can't remember the 2. I can never differentiate between the 2 because it pissed down both times. It's like a deluge. And then we went again in 2016, and it absolutely hosed it down again. So I'm out. I've tapped out of Green Man Festival. I'm not going again. It's just miserable. Lovely place, but yeah. Anyway, saw the National there. I thought they were right. They were making waves at that point. And this, I think the album was it Alligator? Would that be the one? It was around then. Uncut were all over them. Uncut magazine. I thought I'm on one of them where if it feels like I should get into them, I'll give them a real go. And then I went and bought an album. Then I bought. There was an album called High Violet. Is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm just thinking top of my head. Anyway, I couldn't get into it. I tried, and I spent a few evenings out here. I remember going, glass of wine, have a listen. Just doesn't hit home. I mean, it's bad. I think musicianship's all right. I find the vocals dull. I think it's like one size fits all for every song, and the way he delivers it, the way he constructs the songs, they all seem quite similar to me. So they left the building a while back. The Cure. I know a lot of you now are throwing stuff at your telly. I get that. I've seen them twice. Once Glastonbury 95, and I was a bit too young. What was I then? 18. 18? Yeah, 18. Which probably isn't too young really, but it was too young for what I was listening to. Though I will qualify, I saw Jeff Buckley there. I wasn't too young for that. That was amazing. I didn't know any of their stuff really much, just a few of the singles, so I didn't pay all attention. They got bored and wandered off. I got tickets to see them at Hyde Park in London was it 4 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. In fact, it could have been longer actually. Time moves so quick, but they were playing, but the undercard had Ride, one of my favourite bands ever. Slow Dive, another one of my favourite bands. Twilight Sad, who I really like. Goldfrapp were on. Interpol. I mean, it was just a really good undercard. I was like, this should be a great day. Enjoyed the gig. Enjoyed it immensely, really. It was good fun. They played loads of stuff I knew. And I just seen them I watched them on telly in Glastonbury, and I thought, they're all right, these are good. Yeah, maybe I should give them another try. And as is with me, I haven't bought a lot. Really, at breakneck speed. It's not advisable, really, but I did. Of the older stuff, I mean, I love songs like A Forest. I think that's great. There's a few I really like, but not enough to listen to an album from start to finish and go, yeah, because it ends up being really one-paced. Even Disintegration, which is obviously probably the most popular and most well-known, most well-liked, would you say? Again, I just find it hard listen to get from the start to the end. Just a bit too dark for me, maybe too samey, or maybe just there's not that melody spark that I need. I don't know. Doesn't work. And then the last one's Cocteau Twins, and that's recent. They've just left the building very, very recently. I just had them all there. I bought everything when they were really cheap, when you could buy records for a £5, and albums were a £5. 12 inches were £2. These are all going for 40, 50, 60 quid now. There you go. And I bought them all because I thought I should. And I got the 4AD book. I love a lot of the arts on 4AD, and I thought, well, these are really important people. Liz Fraser's got a great voice. I think it should be, but I didn't really sit and listen to it properly. I just had it, so I started to go through it, and I was like, it just doesn't strike me. I don't think there aren't enough songs. They're like, I don't know, they're like ethereal jams, which I suppose is the point, or was the point, but I'm not as sold on that at the moment. So I just figured it could go, so that left the building recently. And to be fair, a lot of the stuff, I put some of the stuff in Discogs and did alright on it. I put it a lot lower than people asked for, because I just wanted to get rid of it, make sure people get a decent deal. I'm not trying to like make loads of money, but there's some rare stuff that I did alright. So yeah, so that's that. There's a load more of those kind of bands, but I'm going to leave it on those three. An artist whose character maybe you may consider questionable, or can you separate the art from the artist? Have I got the album here? Hang on, you'll have to bear with me because I took some other stuff back in after take one. I might have taken it back in, so yeah, I think I have. The artist in question, I've got everything by this artist, everything. Seen him, I'm going to go 8 times, maybe 9. But he's yeah, not my kind of guy. He ain't my friend. But Ryan Adams is the guy. First saw him Bridgewater Hall on a solo tour, and he was drunk, drinking this stuff but from the bottle at a good pace, and he was ended up having an alter ego conversation with himself, like arguing with himself, then just trying to instigate arguments with the crowd. The gig was split into 2, and the second part of the gig, quite a lot of people didn't return to their seats. They just called it. It was a car crash of a gig. Then I saw him with the Cardinals 3 times after that, might be 4. There was a few, and they had this golden run of like Cold Roses, 29, and then the more country-based one, which I keep forgetting what it's called. It's a really good album. Can't remember. But it's got Carolina Rain on it, which is my favourite Ryan Adams song ever. Anyway, they were great gigs, and he seemed to be pretty focused. And then stuff came out about him. I'm not going to go on about that. I'm not going to allege this and allege that. You can Google it all. But not my kind of guy. Not at all. Saw him, I've seen twice more recently, acoustic, and he just goes out on his own. Whether he can't afford a band, no one wants to play with him. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I'm getting diminishing returns on his output. He's prolific to the point of it's just too much, and a lot of it is crap. It's just Bryan Adams by numbers. So possibly, I don't know. Will I pause buying? Probably not. Am I still going to buy? I think I probably am. Yeah, but yeah, questionable character. Yeah, that fella. Can I separate the art from the artist? I have to. There's a lot of artists I wouldn't listen to at all because a lot of them are absolute dickheads, allegedly. So, yeah, Bryan Adams for that. If you, I can't remember what this question was. All I know is if you had to keep just one album as a keepsake, what would it be? I think it was if you had to sell all your records. I think that was what it was. It'd be. And it's, I think it's here. Where is it? Give me a minute. Here we are. Anyone that knows me will know this is a very important album. The Verve and Northern Soul. The first album's amazing. Very psychedelic, very shoegazy in places. Production I don't think was great, but amazing. And all those early singles, I mean, fantastic. I was a bit late getting to it, so they just finished touring that when I started listening, and I remember putting me Slide Away, and I went, oh, and then Gravity Grave and She's a Superstar, and I was like, this is amazing. And then they released This Is Music, which came out, and it was a very different sound, crunchy guitars, kind of. I was a bit crazy horse about something. I mean, Nick McCabe, one of my favourite guitarists, but there was a crunch, added crunch. Still psychedelic, but in a much more urgent way, less washed up, should we say. And I went to see them at Manchester Roadhouse, no less, tiny venue in '95, and I got completely blown away by them. The album hasn't got a bad song on it. The best songs on Heard by Him is the ones they were touring around that time, like Rolling People. Don't listen to Funkadelic too closely on Rolling People. That's one question. That's one thing. And Aphrodite's Child at the end of it. And then come on, don't listen to Saint Stephen by Grateful Dead as well. Those bit of snippets were given to me by the bass player, by the way, so don't feel that the secrets. Latterly I've been able to get to know Cy, the bass player, which has been wonderful. Our band have rehearsed at his place for a fair few. We're not there now, but we've rehearsed there for years, so I've got to know him over a 4 or 5 year period. A lovely fella, really, really, really nice guy. But we spoke about that gig at the Roadhouse, and a bootleg surfaced, which I hadn't heard. And So It Goes is track 3. And I remember him playing this, and I'm a bit of an archivist, so I used to write them down, and I'm all over setlist.fm. I'm just an anorak. I'm always like everything's a list, you know. And I haven't got that down as being played. I asked Si this, and he went, "I've heard it. I think we've only played it twice, and if we don't remember playing it," I'm like, "Well, you did because it's on it." He said, "I know." So we're both nonplussed by that, which I found really interesting. We were laughing about it. A wonderful band. The band sound like they're at the end of their tether. It's desperate, but it's psychedelic. It's pure. It's jam-tastic. They must have jammed for hours to get to the sound they got to, and some of the songs on that. Life's an Ocean. There's Si. There he is. I've got a poster of that out there. You can't see it now, but yeah. Life's an Ocean. A New Decade. So It Goes. History. Knock at My Door, I love. Stormy Clouds, and then the reprise itself. I mean, it's just staggering. That's the remaster. I haven't got the original. I've got the original CD that came with postcards and all sorts of stuff, and then I've got the reissue with the box set. All the box sets. I love the thing. Until it became Richard Ashcroft's acoustic guitar, and it became his backing band, which I'm not really that interested. Right, moving on. So, your VC highlight of the year. I haven't really got on. I don't really have it. I just like watching some of the videos. I don't know anyone. I just watch them and they're fun. And see the vinyl hunters going off looking for vertigo swirls and haggling like hell trying to get stuff in. That's quite amusing all the time. I like it. There's a few I follow, but they're good. A highlight, hopefully this year I'll go to Den Bosch with a bit of luck. April, or if not November, but I think it's definitely on the cards. We'll see. Okay. 3 reasons why jazz matters. I'm new to jazz in the sense that I'm not new to it. I'm new to the fact that I like it now. I didn't. It's more jazz fusion, jazz rock. I really enjoy. So 3 albums that really sum that up. Now Herbie Hancock. I've gone for Sextant. That's the one that precedes Headhunters, which is actually better than that. But I don't have it on vinyl, so you get the same gist. So yeah, jazz rock fusion. I'm not going to say those words anymore, but these are all like that. In a Silent Way with Miles Davis, fantastic. Second half of his career is something to behold, really. The latter half, anyway. Yeah, obviously it's that bitches brew and things like that, but yeah, I really think In a Silent Way is a winner. This, I'm on a Vertigo Swirl trip at the minute, so this is the UK first pressing of Nucleus. They're fronted by Ian Carr. I think he was was it trumpet he played or sax it all. And yeah, it's jazz rock, but gets funky at times, especially in the later albums. But I just think Nucleus are great. And this is a really nice pressing, which I bought from a few weeks ago actually from There's a Vertigo. I think there you go. From Flashback Records in London. So if they're watching, which they're probably not, thanks for the free mug. And they were the recipient of quite a lot of Cocteau Twins stuff as well. So there you go. Jazz matters far more to other people, so I'm probably not qualified, but that kind of style of jazz I like. The more traditional sense, not so much, but maybe we'll get there. You're an Innocent Man on Death Row. We're getting through these quickly. This is going well. Oh, I've missed one. So that was 17. 16, his favourite music biopic, without question, Control, by Ian Curtis and Joy Division. Sam Riley is unreal. I mean, his movements, I mean, the way that he portrayed him. The guy who did him in 24 Hour Party People was good, but this is just another level of amazingness. And Samantha Morton is brilliant in everything she ever does, really. So it's so sad, but brilliant. And I love the way they filmed it in black and white. You just get that kind of gloomy late 70s, early 80s sort of Manchester vibe. If you're not seeing it, thoroughly recommended. You don't have to like Joy Division, but you might cry at the end. So I'm not Heartless Bastard, going back to those other questions before. Yeah, you're an Innocent Man on Death Row. One last request. Well, in order to get my people to get to speak to some other people who could get me off, I need some time. And in order to play that, I'd probably go with Pink Floyd, Medal, not least for side 2, which is all nearly half an hour of echoes. That might buy me some time. But also, if not, what a way to go. I think we'd all agree with that. That's it's not an original, and I don't think I'm actually thinking it's from another country, this one, not the UK. But I can't remember. I've got a number of versions of this kicking about, so that's for another post another time. Question 19. Sell your favourite artist to a listener. Choose one album, explain why. Oh, now I need to find it. So I had all this literally right in front of me, and I've taken some of it back inside, so I can only apologise. So what I'll do is I'll tell you the album, I'll tell you the band. The band are called Luna, fronted by Dean Wareham. The album I'll probably go with would be I like Pup Tent, and I really like Bewitched, but I think Penthouse would probably be the one that everyone will go with. Two guitars. Dean Wareham, who was formerly in Galaxy 500, Sean Eden, and they duel very similar style to the Velvet Underground, another band I absolutely adore, and there's a bit of television going on in there as well. Kind of a Lou Reed style, but a better voice from Dean. Wonderful songs, wonderful storyteller, an amazing band for doing covers as well, amazing covers. Not quite the Yo La Tengo cover ratio, where they would, the last sort of 6 songs of their gig would just be 6 random covers that may not have ever played before or ever again, but they're an outstanding band. I've seen them, my wife and I saw them in Barcelona on what was going to be their final tour. They obviously came back 10 years later at the it's called the Apollo in Barcelona, and it's on the video or Blu-ray, whatever, DVD, Tell Me Do You Miss Me. We were there that night and it was amazing. I've seen them a few times since they've come back. They don't tend to come to the UK that often, if at all, anymore. Dean sometimes comes with his own thing, but not with Luna. So if I'm going to watch them, I'm supposed to go and see them again. But Luna, for me, they've got how many albums? I'm going to say 6, maybe 7, and a couple of live things and B-sides, and they're just great. They're just great. It's quite niche. I could pick other things that people might have heard in the collection, but I think if you like guitar music, 2 lead guitars dueling with lovely melodies, nice harmonies, great storytelling, I think Luna will be the band from New York. And finally, which sort of 3 people in the vinyl community would you like to meet? I think was the question. I don't know, major desire to meet anyone in there, but I'm more than happy to say hello to a few people if the chance arose. I think Dave Atkinson, who has put these together, these questions, is an interesting chap and seems like a really nice guy. Mind sort of digging around his collection, go for a beer, I think he'd be all right. Although he's having a purge at the moment, and the stuff he's getting rid of is, I think he's going to go to a record fair, but I mean, he's going to do well, get more than a couple of quid for some of them. There's some shockers in there. They're all in great nick though, but I was like, blimey, and I can see where they're going, but yeah. Anyway, the chap from Noble Records over in America, I love his collection. I love. He's dead enthusiastic, which I love. But big guy with a beard. He's dead. I can't remember his name. And he's got a great like prog and psych and like a lot of rare stuff with Sam Rock as well. Things that I'm quite into at the moment. So I'd love that be all right. And Mazzy, Norman Maslov, came from America. He's been around and seen everyone from the Grateful Dead at the beginning. Velvets, he's seen everyone. He's got stories about them all. I love his setup as well in his house, and I like his opinions. I think he's a pretty cool guy. So if I was ever in the States, which is not on the list currently, or if he's ever here and he wants to come to North West of England for a tour, I'm his guy. But yeah, okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, I've toyed with this for too long really, so thought I'd wait for my 50th trip round the sun to do it, get it done. I'll put it up in so what date we're on the 28th. I'll probably put it up tomorrow at some point in the evening, and then we'll see how it goes. We'll start from scratch, see what happens, and then we'll get a bit of engagement. Might do a room tour, then we might talk about some bits and pieces, who knows. But anyway, thanks for watching, take care.